Well, Solana's price has been in a continuous downfall over the last few weeks, and many people are questioning when is this downfall going to end, and well, what can we expect next? And so in today's video, I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm expecting from Solana's price and why I'm under the belief that Solana could be approaching its last chance at growth before 30 to 40% correction to the downside. So with that said, let's not waste any more time at all, and let's get straight into today's video. Well, what we can all see is that Solana's price was officially rejected off of that $25.63 to $27 level that we talked about in the last few videos. I told you all, based off of these establishments of support here and these establishments of resistance here, that this is a key level of rejection. And if Solana's price was not capable of breaking this zone, then we're probably going to see a rejection back to the downside, in which Solana's price does come back to revisit this ascending trend line like we've been talking about ever since January of this year. And now what you can see is that after this rejection, that does seem to be the track that Solana is on. Of course, its price has pulled down to the downside quite a good bit, but it does seem as if this move is going to continue towards this at least $18-ish level. What you can see here is that we've not got any super strong indicators of a bullish reversal coming just yet. Of course, we did get a bullish reversal pattern, but we've not got the oversold signal. We've not got any bullish divergence. We've not got the blue peak finder. Nothing like that that tells us that some type of, bottom is forming just yet. And although we are fully extended into the bottom side of the Bollinger Band envelope, we've not really extended far outside of it like we usually do in these moments in which we set in a bottom, right? And so because of this, I'm under the belief that Solana is likely going to continue a little bit further to what could be around $18.50. Now, I am going to add a little bit of an asterisk there. I am going to say that what we're seeing from Bitcoin right now is a very strong attempt to establish support here between about $25,000 and $25,500. And if Bitcoin is capable of holding this little range right here, I do think that all of the alts are probably going to continue back upwards, and while Solana could establish some support a little early. But if Bitcoin specifically also does continue back down towards this $25,400 to $25,000 level, definitely expect that Solana's price itself is going to continue to the downside, right? All of the alts have been somewhat getting beat by Bitcoin recently, so if Bitcoin's falling, the alts are probably going to fall a little bit faster, okay? But do keep that in mind that it's not individually based on Solana here. But with that in mind, let's talk about that, right? Let's talk about if I'm right, okay? If I'm right, and we do come back down to this key level around $18.24 to what could be as low as $16 to $15, what do we do then? Let's talk about that. Now, the first scenario and the first situation is that once we get down to this key level of support, that Solana's price is going to find some type of full extension to the downside. We're going to start to get some of these indicators flashing, and it's going to get a strong bounce to the upside, okay? And maybe even continue back towards the upside to continue through this channel that it's been in, right? There is an opportunity that some type of move back up towards these $35, $37 levels does happen, okay? So that is a possibility. But what are the odds of that? Probably not that likely, but obviously we're never going to count Solana out because the thing is up hundreds of percent since its bottom here, okay? But with that in mind, if this is the case, what you need to be on the lookout for is the break of this trend line first and foremost. Under the circumstances that Solana gets to this level and breaks above this descending trend line that's now been established off of 1 and 2 key establishments of resistance, then I'm under the belief that a little purchase on Solana would be a decent idea. The range is now open to get back up towards $25, and I think that there's a strong fair chance that that does happen, and it could be a nice little 15-20% move to the upside. So if Solana does bounce and break this trend line, a little bit of purchasing here wouldn't be a bad idea. Now let's talk about what happens if that doesn't happen. What happens if Solana's price breaks to the downside and finally loses this support that it's been on top of for the entire year? Let's get into it. Generally speaking, when a crypto breaks its ascending level of support, it will visit the last point of support on that line. So if we come back down here, for example, what you will see is the moment this level gets broken, you're then looking to get a return back towards the last point of support, which is right here. You can see this is something that Bitcoin itself is doing currently. We, of course, did get these establishments of support right here. And the moment that Bitcoin lost that support there, boom, we came back down to this first establishment of support right here, okay? So Solana very well can do this. And under the circumstances that we break to the downside, I would be prepared for a move to the downside for Solana of 25%. I think it's very possible, right? I think it's very possible, and it happens all the time. Will it come directly exactly down to $12.86? No, it might just go to $13.40. It might get very close, but it will likely happen, okay? And so what you need to be aware of is that the interaction that we see at this level, at this zone between $18 and $17, $16, somewhere in line there will be incredibly important in determining the macro and the midterm future for what happens with Solana coming up. And so I will continue to update you as this does happen, and don't panic if we do get a little bit of a continuation back towards these levels, but once we get to these levels, that's when it all matters. So watch extremely closely. Are we capable of breaking the downward trend line, or are we going to break the ascending trend line and continue to the downside? You all know my goal here is to not be right. It is to prepare you as much as possible. Although I do believe it's more likely that Solana will get this macro break to the downside eventually, I don't want to only prepare you for that, because if I'm wrong, you could get caught in the dark and not know what to do. And so remember, our goal is to be as prepared as possible for any situation that this crypto market puts us in. So make sure that you do turn on notifications so you can be as prepared as possible when that does happen. But with this in mind, guys, stay up to date, keep looking at Solana, and watch very closely that interaction, and I will update you as something significant does happen. Of course, I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. I have a very interesting video coming out for you on Wednesday, so watch closely for that, and well, I will see you all next time. Peace out, everybody.